Well, Jamie, I got an angry chicken, a really big gun, and an airplane. What are we working on?
Well, we're here testing the myth of the chicken gun.
We know that the military uses chicken cannons to test windshields, you know, how they would do with a bird hit. What's the myth?
Well, the myth says that the British borrowed this technology from NASA to test high-speed trains. But they ran into a problem, and the problem was that the chickens were going right through the windshields of the trains and even embedding themselves in the seats further down inside the train.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Well, the British were horrified at this, of course, and they sent a tape back to NASA asking for help. NASA replied saying, "Gentlemen, thaw your chickens."
Well, so this is what we're testing here today. Not that there is a chicken gun in existence, but whether or not there's a difference between a frozen and a thawed chicken at a couple hundred miles an hour to an airplane windshield.
That's correct.
To fire thawed or frozen chickens at high speed, the MythBusters will need a sealed tank and compressor to supply air for the massive gun. An industrial-strength butterfly valve will provide an explosive release for firing the carcass down the long barrel. The target? A used fuselage and several spare windshields. First stop for anyone buying light aircraft spare parts in California is Ken Faith's yard in Sacramento.
Windshields, I'm thinking about, might be over here, some of them.
Acres of used light aircraft components make it a prime location for Jamie and Adam to find a fuselage and extra windshields.
I love places like this. I could spend hours here looking through the gauges and headsets and seats and, you know, hats.
Look, a chicken. Looks like a bird already went through it.
It did. What about something like this, Jamie? You know, we get double the bang for our buck.
I certainly like the looks of these better.
Aircraft chosen. Now, how to get it home. Jamie and Adam have been all over Kenny's yard, but there's one question they forgot to ask, an oversight that will come back to haunt them.
Not bad, sir. Very good.
Never done that before.
Keep going. Good.
Got a lot of Stranger Things in my pickup at this point, so this is another one to add to my list. Okay, set it down.
Back at the workshop, the plane is stored until the chicken gun is built and ready to fire.
Well, we've got our target, so the next step and the hardest step is going to be to set up the chicken gun. That means that we have to build a large tank to hold a whole lot of high-pressure air and rig some kind of a valve to let go all that air all at once to fire a chicken. It's kind of tricky. It's a lot of work.
So the search for the perfect high-pressure tank begins.
Wow.
The Machinery and Equipment Company in Brisbane, California is a vast supermarket for used tanks.
You can flip this in any direction. That could be upside down. You can hang it from something or leave it like that.
What do you want for this thing?
This is $750.
Okay.
Jamie, it still occurs to me that it's way overkill for what we want to do. It's like your intuition is that it's not like a bomb.
Yeah.
But if it is, we're all dead and
Well, this is true, but...
So, erring against the side of caution,
okay,
even if your intuition is right, is stupid.
Okay, well, think about it, though, before you go off like that.
Well, when everyone who you talk to describes 250 pounds per square inch as being like a bomb, and Jamie just says, well, I'm not that concerned about it. It's like, that's not good enough for me.
Adam was just having a little bit of a hissy fit about the safety aspect of this thing, and, you know, I don't hold it against him at all. The possibility of having the tank rupture and somebody get hurt is something that we should be very concerned about. However, I don't think it's going to blow up.
What I've got, I found a guy who's got one. It's about half that size. I think it's just perfect for us up in Petaluma.
Okay.
I need some cash and I need the keys to the car, Dad.
Okay. There's
500. All right.
Drive carefully.
Vegas, baby! What's it rated for?
200 PSI.
That is good. I love it. Let's do it.
That's it.
Meanwhile, Jamie has found an oversized butterfly valve that will release the pressurized air. He also ordered 20 feet of quarter-inch steel pipe for a 10-inch diameter barrel.
Hey, Savage.
Yo, Heine.
So,
Here she is.
Even Jamie is impressed with Adam's purchase. It's an ideal tank for storing enough compressed air to propel chickens.
I recognize that your intuition, like mine, is...
It appears Adam has a little something to get off his chest.
I didn't mean to call you stupid this morning.
did you call me stupid?
I didn't. I said stupid, and I was talking to you, but I wasn't calling you stupid.
Okay. Nobody ever calls me stupid.
I've called you stupid, but not to your face.
Not in live.
Jamie's using a plasma cutter, a high-energy precision tool to cut the pipe to length and to make a hole in the tank for the barrel. For the explosive release of air, the butterfly valve will be fitted between two lengths of pipe. Adam's job is to fit the short end to the tank.
I just dropped the temple of my glasses here into the tank, the really heavy, big tank with a hole in it. Got some chewing gum?
Just goes to show, where there's a will, there's a way.
There we go. One glasses temple. Now I can get to work.
The big valve is the most critical aspect. It's the only mechanism standing between a great shot and a weak one.
When we pressure this tank up, this can hold 250 psi. We'll get it to about 200 and then yank on this, and chickens be flying.
The air compressor is connected to the tank. Time for a chicken-free test blast at 200 pounds per square inch of pressure.
Stand clear. Give us a countdown then.
2, 3, 1.
It looks impressive, yet the white smoke is simply water vapor forming droplets when the previously hot compressed air meets the cool.
Feels like a Mack truck just drove by me. I just wonder what a chicken breaking the speed of sound sounds like.
If you're going to let your chickens fly free range, there's no better place to stock up than Tarantino's. Tony's family has been in poultry for years.
Tony, do you think there'd be any difference between whether they used frozen or thawed chickens?
I would imagine frozen would be harder.
They could do more damage.
Do a little bit more damage. I think the fresh just might kind of splat.
Yeah.
So if you were in a plane, you'd rather hit a thawed chicken than a frozen one?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I don't imagine there's many frozen chickens at 2,000 feet.
No, maybe. It's cold up there.
Their chickens of choice, 8 rock-hard 4-pounders. The key to launching chickens explosively is to ensure they fit the barrel snugly. Adam places them in a mold of expanding rigid foam. The result is a sleeve called a sabot. It enables projectiles to be fired from weapons of a larger caliber.
So once the foam sets up and gets rigid, what we end up with is this perfect sort of molded cartridge for the chicken that equals the size of the barrel and allows us to propel it out. I would say that what you got here is a potential supersonic chicken.
Just a few bolts to tighten, and this very potent chicken gun is ready for its first outing. The countdown to chicken blastoff has begun. Unsure of the chicken gun's firepower, for safety reasons, they sit the plane inside their blast chamber.
I'll lean it right there.
To check their aim, they need a test shot. So, a sheet of Lexan is positioned to protect the windshield.
So our first test is a frozen chicken. Let's see here.
The tank is primed to 120 pounds per square inch of air pressure.
There we go. That is one loaded chicken gun.
I'm good.
All right. Get out of here. We are arming the chicken cannon. I'm going to stand back here.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right! I told you right there. Oh, good man.
Out of the barrel and free of the sabot, the frozen chicken clocked 121 miles an hour.
Wow! So even if you're flying with a rated plexiglass shield in front of your plane, you're in some serious danger. Where's the chicken? Oh my God. You know, who knows what the damage to the neighbors would have been if this had gotten out. Oh.
You know, that's about one of the more destructive things that I've ever done. That was cool.
Yeah, that was exceedingly cool. Let's do a thawed.
A replacement windshield is fitted for another shot. This time, a thawed chicken. The big question, will it cause as much damage as a frozen one?
3, 2, 1.
Under the same pressure, the thawed chicken was marginally slower than the frozen one, but still reached a destructive 99.5 miles an hour. For the next shot, the tank pressure will be reduced by more than half, down to 50 psi. They're hoping to see a difference between frozen and thawed at a slower speed.
And 3, 2, 1.
Another frozen bird is blasted. This one at 128 miles an hour.
Jamie,
Yeah?
there was no difference in speed between 120 psi and 50 psi.
It may just be that initial blast, like it's probably within the first like eighth of the valve opening, it's gone or something, you know?
Once more into the breach for the thawed bird at the 50 psi mark.
1.
Its clocked speed a shattering 132 miles an hour.
You know, if anything, the thawed chicken leaves a bigger hole.
Which would kind of make sense.
It would. Its impact spreads out as it hits, but it's still the same amount of mass going through the same amount of space.
Right now, they're all going right through the windshield. So, assuming that there is a minute difference and we want to find out whether there is, we're going to have to lower the speed down to find out exactly where that butter zone is.
They cut the pressure again to just 25 psi for the frozen fowl. And then thawed. The MythBusters' awesome outcome, all their flying poultry highly destructive.
I'm totally shocked.
Does that mean that the myth is busted?
I think that would mean that the myth is definitely busted.
But wait, there's a hitch. Those light aircraft windshields they bought are not rated for bird strikes.
Well, Jamie, that's the biggest screw-up we've ever done. I mean, we're supposed to test the difference between frozen and thawed chickens, and the Piper Cherokee, its windscreen is not even rated to be smacked into by anything.
Yeah, it was like trying to check the difference between a 22 and a 357 by shooting at a cardboard box. I mean, it looked really destructive. It looked great, but it didn't really tell us anything.
Yeah. So this is the experiment take 2.
To finally lay this myth to rest, they have rethought their methodology. No more windshields. This is purely a moment of impact test. The chickens will be fired at a solid steel plate. By using the high-speed camera to measure the time between the start and finish of impact, they hope to see a difference between frozen and thawed chickens. The 3 frozen chickens clocked more than 140 miles an hour. The impact time, 7 1/1000ths of a second.
It automatically deboned the chicken, didn't it? 3, 2, 1.
Impact times for the 3 thawed chickens showed a perfect match with the frozen poultry. 7 1/1000ths of a second.
Here we go. 1 point of impact, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then now it's starting to move back again. It's given all of its impact in that amount of time.
The results from the high-speed camera seem to be fairly convincing.
You know that adage that it's not the falling that kills you, it's the stopping? The stopping is where the force gets imparted. So both the frozen and the thawed chicken have the same mass. They have effectively the same speed. So the only difference between the two is going to be how much time they take to impart their energy to the plate. And on the high-speed camera, we showed that each of them exerted all their energy in 7 milliseconds. Almost exactly. Basically, there was no difference.
So does that mean the myth is busted?
At these speeds, frozen or thawed chicken, myth busted, no difference at all. Now that we're done testing, we get to have some fun.
Fun.
Was there anything in its way? I suspect that the pumpkin went through here. Oh, here we go. Jamie, can I ride it?
3, 2, 1.
Woo! That was so cool!
You feel a little tingle between your legs when that sucker went out?
I do. It's gonna be hard to top that. In 1998, a Charlottesville man attempting to do a large amount of laundry stuffed his washing machine with 50 pounds of clothes. He sort of fell into the machine. His legs got stuck by the laundry and he banged into the shelf. He hit some bleach. Bleach blinded him. Apparently he might have even swallowed some.
At this point, his dog runs in to see what the commotion is about. And as he spins around, this time he hits the shelf again and some baking soda pours out. This startles the dog, who then urinates on the baking soda,
causing a small explosion, at which point the laundry machine went into its spin cycle, turning him at about 70 miles an hour, where he smacked his head into a shelf and died immediately.
Well, that sounds ridiculous. What's the largest one that you would have in stock?
The large one.
Yeah.
It's a heavy duty, super capacity.
Do you think that this could hold 50 pounds of clothes?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
So what do you think, Adam?
My vote would be this one.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the volume.
Okay.
We, of course, went for Super Capacity Plus from a major maker of washing machines, and hopefully it'll be as powerful as about anything that's out there.
The very first precept of the myth, which is that he's standing in a washing machine that's running, is probably impossible. All the washing machines they have in here have cutoff switches when the lid is open.
But this visit has proved one thing. Adam Savage can never leave a junk shop empty-handed.
I'm thinking of, like, you know, maybe having it a way that my kids can get the toys out of their closet.
Next on our laundry list, 50 pounds of clothes. Adam's favorite thrift store has what we need.
Men's, women's, children's, lingerie. You can get a lot of lingerie for 50 pounds.
We actually use a lot of lingerie on this show, don't we?
We
For
have,
some strange
actually.
reason.
Okay, let's see how much we got there. You got the scale?
There we go.
I say we're good, 50 pounds. 50 pounds of laundry is a lot bigger than I thought it was. I mean, it's like 2 full, hard-to-lift garbage bags of clothes.
I know we're not going to get all of that in the washing machine. You know, maybe about half of it at most. And that wouldn't wash it very well.
The guys construct a mini laundry in the workshop. Just like in the myth, bleach and baking soda are placed on the shelf.
As far as I can tell, it's working.
The machine runs like a dream. But they need to disable the cutoff switch so it can spin with the lid open.
Go ahead. So it doesn't even want to spin me around. Like, I can go like this. I can stop it. All right.
Okay, myth busted. We're done?
No. I think the next thing is to get 50 pounds of clothes and see if we can even get this thing to run with that. Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
It's not in the machine.
Well,
Well, I guess this is why the guy stood
this is
on
why
it.
the guy started standing on it. But, I mean, we still have 10 pounds left, and I can't even make my feet into it. I mean, he's supposed to have sunk all the way to the bottom. All right. It wants to spin. It really does. It's not even spinning, it's not agitating, it's not doing anything. So the only option open to us now is to pull all this out, start pulling the guts out, and just make this thing spin hell or high water, no matter what the hell is in it. What's that? That can't be that necessary. I don't recognize it.
Ooh.
This is the clutch, man.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, 'cause I don't see any belts right offhand.
Why don't we run it through a light cycle right now?
Okay.
And observe it. This should be pretty cool. How many of you have ever seen a washing machine naked?
To prevent accidents, like the one in the Myth, the machine has an emergency clutch. It stops the wash cycle before the motor burns out. To make this machine spin Buster, the crash test dummy, the clutch will have to be bypassed.
Yeah.
Well, we have done what we can to modify this machine to get rid of a clutch and get rid of actually every safety feature it possesses. Now we'll find out if it is in fact strong enough to do any damage once those have all been overridden.
The washing machine from hell
Is about to be unleashed upon the world.
Before Buster and his dirty clothes go back in, a test run.
It's spinning. It's going real fast.
But despite 630 revolutions per minute, they can stop it with their bare hands.
That was the thing that was going to break. We removed the clutch. That was probably that little plastic.
That's that little piece of plastic. So the motor has like almost no torque at all. This is an example of one of the most powerful consumer level motors you can get in a washing machine. This myth is totally busted for the third or fourth time today. I can't even remember which.
The myth is busted. However, as is our way here on MythBusters, we are going to show what would happen if it did have enough power.
They're upgrading to a motor from an electric car, a motor Jamie just happened to have lying around.
These motors are 10 horsepower as well. They will literally pick this thing up and throw it. They will toss the dummy across the room or something like that. These propelled a full-sized electric car, so they're not something to be toyed with.
Attaching the motor will be tricky. But Jamie has come up with a brilliant solution. Now the spin cycle is powered like a motorcycle. The car motor is connected to the main drive shaft by a motorcycle chain.
There we go. Good.
We have a very solid plan for making this thing go like hell.
Jamie wheels in a special guest, the robot he built for a 7-Up commercial. By plugging the washing machine into the robot's power source and speed controller, he'll be able to easily direct the washer's spin speeds.
And what that gives us is a tremendous amount of power that we can control from relatively slow to as fast as it'll handle before it flies apart. This will fly apart at some point. The machine is not built for this kind of power, and we'll probably find another weak link, and another, until we end up having no washing machine left and all some big massive motor and a drum that we've made from scratch just so we can swing the damn dummy around. Right now, this thing doesn't really resemble a washing machine anymore so much as it does an electric car. This should be live, so watch out there. Faster or slower than the spin cycle?
That looks pretty close to the spin cycle to me. It looks a little bit slower, but it looks pretty close.
Okay, I wasn't going all the way up yet. So we've done it.
We got it.
Okay, I'll power it off.
Does the Dane have to pee?
He just went.
Oh no. Now where's the likely tree? Any ideas where the most likely tree is?
That garbage can right there.
That garbage can?
Is that it?
Stop and pee on the garbage.
Excellent. He was going to go in my pans. You messed it all up. Here, you take this camera and you go over there.
Okay.
You and I'll stay right here.
Then, a bounty hunter nabs a sample.
Wow. Thank you. Good job.
Beautiful. Excellent. That's not much, but that's all that I need. I got it.
At the workshop, Buster is hauled up for another traumatic test of endurance.
Grab one of his feet.
Tell me what you're doing.
If you followed me, it would all
We got a
happen really
forklift
quickly.
here.
His feet go up and in, and then we lift him up.
No. Well, we got a forklift. You're complaining about how heavy he is. We got a forklift sitting right here.
In 2 minutes, we'll be done. So he's swinging the butt all the way upside down, like this.
Is the camera out of there?
Yeah. Here. Now we lift him. Oh, wait. He's copping a feel. Right. There we go. Buster. See, we're done. See, that was easy.
Some of last season's fashions are packed around his legs.
I told you no colors with the whites.
All right, we got the bleach up here. All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna operate it from over here at safe distance.
I'm glad we were all suitably safe distance.
That was a lot of fun. That was pretty cool. He was like a top or a Tasmanian devil.
And now, for the experiment's final phase.
Here's the baking soda. It's dumped all over the place.
I think that's exactly where a dog would pee if a dog came in and was startled by all this.
Which it no doubt would be. Well,
So we have our carefully collected specimens. Shall we see if this causes a small explosion? Basically now I'm about to pour the dog wee on the pile of baking soda, which, if the myth is correct, should cause a small explosion. Or if we're actually on Earth, we'll do absolutely bupkis.
Fire in the hole!
Nothing happened. Get me the Jack Russell Terrier urine. That ought to do it. They're hyper little creatures. All right, everybody behind the Lexan shield. Are you ready? On set!
Well, what do you know? Nothing happened.
No explosion at all. Well, Jamie, that's actually, I think, a first for us. There is not one fact about this myth that's true.
Yeah, you know, usually at least there's a tiny grain of truth somewhere in the stuff that we're dealing with. It has to start somewhere. But, you know, this one, it just isn't there. It's not practical, it's not reasonable, it doesn't make any sense.
Myth decimated. Well, this one might seem a little silly at first, but I think we're going to have some fun with this. This woman admitted to the hospital with abdominal pains, and the doctors, upon examining her, thought that she was pregnant, so they did an emergency cesarean on her and pulled what turned out to be a live octopus from her belly. This is the myth. It seems that perhaps 6 months before she was diving and ingested an octopus egg while diving, and it had grown to full size in her stomach.
To ground this myth in reality, Adam and Jamie consult the experts at Monterey Bay Aquarium.
We have shrimp and squid.
That's exactly what I had for dinner last night.
Sauteed in a little butter.
Yeah, exactly.
Feeding the giant Pacific octopus is Julia Mariottini's job.
You taste different.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you must taste really good. Because he's really interested in you.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, he's very excited.
Julia, what kind of conditions do the eggs require to be successful at bearing little octopuses?
Well, they really do require the attention of the mother. She will blow jets of water on them to make sure that they're aerated. She'll clean them. They also require the correct temperature, the correct salinity, and if all goes well, then they'll hatch out. For giant octopus, it's about 6 months later.
Is it possible, let's say, if an octopus egg had just detached and was floating free, could a diver actually swim in and swallow one of these things?
That's the only part of the story that could possibly happen. By some fluke, the octopus eggs are small enough that maybe a person could swallow them, but there's no way they would hatch out.
The conditions in the stomach would not be amenable to their hatching.
Not at all.
You know, Jamie, talking to Julie, it's really obvious to me that the whole idea of octopus pregnancy is just ridiculous. I mean, octopus egg can't even survive in open water without constant tending from the mother. It's definitely not going to survive in someone's stomach.
Yeah, but you know, there are myths around other creatures like frogs, lizards, snakes, even newts, you know, that this can happen with.
So, is it possible for foreign organisms to survive inside the human body?
We can replicate a stomach or several of them and put, you know, stuff that eggs would run into, like acids and maybe salinity, temperature factors.
And we'll see which ones survive and which ones don't, and which environments they work in.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. One of everything. I've never seen continuous pipe cleaner before. I didn't even know it existed.
Which is smoother?
That's smoother. Do you think we need to get some beard covers here? What you have isn't really quite a beard, though.
I'm not sure what it is.
It's like an accessory tuft.
Now somebody wave from the other side.
Oh, that's cool. When do you ever get a chance? Oh, I'm a little embarrassed. That was kind of a personal experience.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Adam, do we have everything we need here for this experiment?
I think we do. We've got the acid, we've got the salt, we've got the voltage meter for testing salinity, thermometer, and perhaps most importantly, in fact, without this we couldn't do the experiment, we have our test subjects here, our frog eggs.
With the octopus angle ruled out, they have opted for frogs' eggs and tadpoles, small and common enough in nature to be swallowed, and they don't need constant parental care.
Yeah, those puppies came all the way from Florida. They have a lot of frog farms down there, I understand.
3 flasks represent different conditions in the stomach. One for body temperature, water heated to 98.6. One of salt water, the same salinity as the human body. A third with a pH of 2 contains acid, imitating human stomach juices. A 4th flask is the control sample.
All right, so we got some tadpoles and some eggs in there. Let's say we do 2 of each.
Okay, you got the little squirt bulb?
I do. Here we go.
The control sample of eggs and tadpoles will swim in a flask of aerated water, the ideal environment for tadpole survival.
You ready for the acidity?
Okay.
Okay, which one is that? Acid. This one here.
Hydrochloric acid actually secretes in the stomach, and it's powerful stuff. Extremely corrosive. A single drop can eat through wood. Jamie and Adam need to dilute their pure hydrochloric to match stomach acidity.
Yeah, real close.
All right.
1.99. All right.
The pH scale runs from 0 to 14. Pure water is neutral with a pH of 7. Anything below 7 is acid, and anything above is alkaline. Common examples range from battery acid at 1, the stomach at 2, an apple scores a pH of 4, and milk of magnesia a mild 10.5.
Doesn't seem to be doing so hot. He's definitely more laconic than his racetrack friends here, you know. He's just kind of sitting there on the top.
Next, the body temperature test. They heat water to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, here we go. He's not, you know, doing a racetrack thing like his brethren down here in the Pyrex.
What Adam's doing is measuring the electrical conductivity of his saliva. Now, we're going to try and replicate that conductivity in water by adding salt to it.
Electrical resistance is the best way to determine salinity because dissolved salts are strong conductors. In Adam's mouth, the resistance is low, measuring around 4 kiloohms.
There's one. He's doing pretty good.
No, he's actually doing fine.
Here's another. Salinity, they both seem to be doing okay, so we should leave this overnight and see how it does.
Yeah.
Tadpoles might find it tough going in the stomach, but are there any life forms tailored to the conditions?
Why would it not be possible for a thing like an octopus or a snake to grow and develop in your body?
The acid in your stomach is there to dissolve meat and other food materials, and any type of living organism that doesn't have a way to protect itself against that is going to just wind up as digested food.
So are there creatures that do have that type of protection that can make it through the acid in the stomach?
Oh, most certainly. Tapeworms, for example, which are a type of parasite that you get from eating undercooked pork or beef. Also, certain types of roundworms, where in this case it's the egg of the worm that makes it through and then hatches in your intestine. And in both of those cases, the reason that they can actually make it through the gastric acid is that they're coated with a very hard shell. It's called a cuticle, and it's about as hard as your fingernail. So by having this, basically this armor on its surface, these worms can make it through the gastric acid, get into the small intestine, and basically live in paradise because they have as much food as they want to eat. It's not surprising that a lot of stories probably evolved because people were seeing these things in their environment all the time, and they probably attained mythical proportions.
When you look at these, the leap to an octopus doesn't seem like that great a leap.
Sure, I mean, and imagine these all bunched together. You know, it would be like a Medusa head. Mm-hmm. And they'd often be passed by a child that way, so you actually would see something that looks like a Medusa head lying in the crib.
That must be it. What do you think?
I think no pasta for lunch. All right, Jamie, it's been 3 days. How are our frogs doing?
Well, most of them are still alive. You know, the control group is great. They're happy little tadpoles swimming away in there.
They look even bigger than they were a couple days ago.
I believe they have grown a little bit. And the salt water seems to be fine with them.
Yeah, they're still going.
They're doing just as well as a control group, actually.
What were the killers?
The real killers were the acid and the high temperature.
Well, that killed them each in like 10 or 15 minutes, didn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, Jamie, I think we've done everything we can to show that octopus pregnancy is absolutely ridiculous. We've busted it wide open.
And the octopus really liked your hand.
I think I'm actually in love.